The DeFi market remains one of the most exciting areas in crypto. Who could forget the buzz of the summer of 2020, widely known as DeFi summer? It was a game changer, and its impact still echoes today. DeFi continues to thrive, maintaining a total value locked TVL of over $115 billion, 0 cents. While it hit an all-time high of around $177 billion, 0 cents in 2021, I wouldn't be surprised if we see new highs soon. What's fascinating is how many people overlook the pioneers of this space, like the XRP Ledger. Did you know it was one of the first platforms to integrate a DEX right into its ecosystem? As the next wave of innovation approaches, it's worth revisiting these trailblazers. The XRP Ledger is making waves in the DeFi space and quickly becoming a major player. Let's dive into what's happening. First up, a quick breakdown from Crypto Aries. XRP's total value locked TVL on Doppelify has surpassed $7 million, 0 cents, contributing to a combined TVL of $16,900,000, 0 cents. Meanwhile, Flare Networks is on fire, soaring 10% in 24 hours to hit $142 million, 0 cents in TVL. But wait, there's more. XRP Ledger's DEX has $37 million, 0 cents worth of XRP locked, and the buzz is just beginning. Over a dozen new DeFi protocols centered on XRP are set to launch as early as this month, with even more rolling out through the summer. Let's dive into some exciting numbers. Check out these highlights. Doppler Finance at $16,910,000, 0 cents. Flare sitting at an impressive $142,600,000, 0 cents. And the XRP Ledger DEX at $37,680,000, 0 cents. But here's where it gets interesting. The XRP Ledger DEX just skyrocketed. It surged to an incredible $80,630,000, 0 cents. That's a massive leap from the $37,680,000, 0 cents reported on the 7th. Mind-blowing growth in such a short time, and it doesn't stop there. Doppelify is also on the rise, jumping from $16,910,000, 0 cents to $24,200,000, 0 cents. Watching this kind of momentum unfold is truly exhilarating. When it comes to DEX volume, the XRP Ledger is hitting exciting new milestones. Weekly all-time highs are starting to roll in, showcasing growing adoption on the DeFi side of the network. This is a big deal, indicating that the ecosystem is gaining real momentum. In the last 24 hours, we saw one of the largest surges yet. On May 7th, the DEX hit a volume of $605,000, 0 cents. Now, you might think that's not much for a network as big as XRP Ledger, but it's actually a significant milestone considering the network currently hosts just 6 protocols. This sets a strong foundation, and we're likely to see many more protocols join in soon. Speaking of growth, CoinDesk recently highlighted an exciting move into the block and Trade-in Digital are collaborating to launch Centaura, a DeFi gateway for institutions. Backers like New Forum Capital, Ripple, and Tribe Capital are stepping in to make waves. This marks a huge leap for DeFi on the XRP Ledger, powered by Ripple and backed by some seriously influential players. Exciting times ahead. Institutional DeFi is quickly becoming a massive focus, and the XRP Ledger is leading the charge. But how is this transformation happening? Let's break it down. First up, key acquisitions like Hidden Road. Ripple and Hidden Road have teamed up to deliver the full potential of digital assets to institutional customers at scale. Together, they're bridging the gap between traditional finance and decentralized finance in groundbreaking ways. And it's all happening through the XRP and XRP. What's not to love? Breaking news here, Raoul Paul dives into the exciting launch of DeFi on the XRP Ledger. As more decentralized applications like DeFi are built on top, the network's value skyrockets, aligning perfectly with Metcalfe's law. This is something I stand by consistently. When it comes to DeFi, even on Hedera, many underestimate its importance, but take a closer look and you'll notice the DEX volume syncing up with solid price action. Sure, the market's dipping a bit, but ever since things started stirring, we've noticed prices moving in sync with DeFi and ecosystem growth. Exactly what we want to see on the XRP Ledger. Now, let's rewind to that clip and hear Raoul Paul break down why DeFi on networks like the XRP Ledger is such a game changer. You don't want to miss this.
So it has launched, XRP DeFi. So what are your thoughts on this? Any implications as to how XRP does in the market overall? Do we still see upside here for XRP?
The more that's built on top of XRP. So XRP is in an exalted situation because there's a lot of holders. but the activity was, under pressure because of under lawsuits.
Yep.
And B, a lot of it was the potential of how much can we use for stuff. And there is a reasonable amount of use of the XRP Ledger. But if you're starting to build new applications like DeFi on top, you're only going to build value in Metcalfe's law terms, which is network value. So it can only be a net positive if people start to use it, because there's a lot of users, there's not enough things they can do with their XRP. So we've had some memes on XRP, that was a use case, more DeFi on XRP, more use case. Then you've got something much bigger than the original thing. So, for me, all blockchains about proving yourself and proving network value by building value. And if they can do that, good for them.
He's absolutely spot on, right? There are countless XRP holders eager to put their XRP to work. With the rise of DeFi applications, we're likely to see a massive surge in XRP activity. More movement means more volume, which drives value. And naturally, that value boost will send XRP, the gas token fueling all this, soaring. A win we'd all love to see. Now, diving deeper into this, let's check out Jazzy Cooper. Back in March, she shared an article about an institutional DeFi portal. As a product lead at Ripple, she nailed the issue. Bringing finance on-chain is still way too hard. It's complicated, full of jargon, and completely scattered. We're building something bigger and better, clearer use cases, seamless onboarding, and everything you need in one place. Whether you're building or exploring, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Picture this: an institutional DeFi portal in development, a cutting-edge platform designed to help financial institutions bring their operations on-chain, powered by XRP and the XRPO. Unlock blockchain's true potential with use cases that drive real value for your business. Tokenized assets enable XRP deposits and facilitate XRP trading, a game changer. This is massive, showcasing XRP and XRPL across the entire business lifecycle. From tokenization to groundbreaking institutional DeFi initiatives, Ripple is proving its commitment to solidifying XRPL as a leading DeFi network. This is innovation in action, and I couldn't be more excited to see where it leads. Let's dive into something interesting from vet_x0. This is a bit of a throwback, but it's worth revisiting, especially with the focus on multi-purpose tokens. Remember when Ripple faced initial pushback for their institutional approach? Well, that's now becoming the norm. Institutional and regulated assets are already fueling the crypto and DeFi space. Just look at stablecoins like Circle and Tether. Now, fast forward to the XRP Ledger DeFi roadmap we saw yesterday. It's clear they're doubling down on institutions with game-changing updates like AMMs, decentralized identifiers, oracles, MPTs, and even lending and borrowing capabilities. Here's the big question. Stablecoins as institutional and regulated assets have helped build this thriving crypto ecosystem. But what happens when we introduce even bigger institutional assets and services into the mix? Something to think about. Stay tuned.
2012.
Okay, so around that time frame, there was some initial hostility that we've talked about before towards Ripple and its sort of institution-centric approach. And it does feel like things have changed. I mean, we're talking a lot about regulation. We're talking about ETFs from Blackstone, BlackRock, and and all of these different entities. What does it feel like, from your seat? Do you feel like people have kind of evolved to the Ripple worldview, or it must feel different for you, given all of that criticism you got initially?
Yeah, I think the undeniable piece of proof is stablecoins like USDC and Tether. They are as institutional a thing as you can possibly get, and yet they are what's fueling these completely decentralized economies. I think you can't deny right now that the institutional adoption is going to enable grassroots adoption and vice versa. I think the thing that we were too early on is when we were trying to bring institutions on for their payments, they weren't going to bring their customers to blockchains, right? Like if your bank is using, let's say they're using Ripple's payment technology and they're using blockchains and they're using XRP in payments. You as a customer, it's invisible to you. They're not going to bring you into the blockchain space. Yeah. What's exciting about this second wave of sort of institutional adoption is that they're either bringing their customers directly onto the blockchain or they're enabling people to do things on the blockchain.
Sure.
I think you have to accept that, like, if there's going to be mass adoption, it's going to be these sort of hand in hand.
Yeah.
The thing that I think people were skeptical about, that I think now the evidence is undeniable, is that wouldn't mean that everything would have to be regulated. I think the thing that people didn't realize is that, like, you can have a stable coin or a loan portfolio or a tokenized security that's completely thoroughly regulated. They do KYC, AML on every single customer. And yet on the back end, there's tokens that represent ownership interest or collateralization.
All of this progress, it's thanks to MPTs. The MPT initiative is absolutely key here, and it's on the verge of being finalized. But that's not all. Big things are happening with the XRP Ledger. The introduction of the EVM sidechain is unlocking new DeFi opportunities, enhancing the productive use of XRP, and paving the way for institutional RWAs. Could the XRP Ledger become the leading platform for RWA tokenization? All right, the potential is massive. Take a look.
The one thing I'm most excited about happening on XRPL is finally opening up DeFi opportunities for for XRP. Right? Again, it's the biggest asset with one of the biggest communities that doesn't have DeFi, right? And being able to use this asset productively in DeFi, I think it's going to be a big thing. And then XRPL, Ripple obviously has a very unique edge when it comes to RWAs. And with Axelar, we're working with most of the RWA issuers as well. So it's not something I think we've done a deep dive yet with your team, but it's something we're prioritizing now and just bringing new RWAs over to XRPL. And I think you guys have a big edge there, and we can make it probably the biggest chain, right, for RWA adoption. So I think there's some interesting directions there.
This is absolutely a strong possibility, especially with the major expansions and amendments underway. XRP is on the brink of making history. We're edging closer to seeing XRP revolutionize tokenization initiatives in a big way. All it takes is one groundbreaking announcement, and I truly believe something big is brewing behind Ripple's recent moves. We've got an exciting road ahead, so let's keep an eye on what's coming next. Big changes are already unfolding, from DeFi innovations to the rise of tokenization. Honestly, I couldn't be more thrilled about what the future holds for XRP and the XRPL. It's shaping up to be something truly game-changing. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. There's plenty more free content headed your way. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, stay awesome. Peace out.